So that means Mr. Pepperman, which, not to be confused with my Pepper case later today, which case would you like to utilize that on? Or was the court submission?
That's correct. Sorry, there's a lot of cases that I get.
Really? Try 600 plus. Go ahead. Anyway, that was my grade showed. Okay, no worries. Okay. Okay, counsel, please do remember that if you're on remotely, you do need to please sign into the chat with your name, the party you represent, the case that you're on. And if you're observing, we do have, remember, for the various real water cases, i.e. affinity lifestyle cases, i.e. however you'd like to call them, those all are subject to a media request, and so they will have the opportunity to be recorded. However, that's the only entity that is able to record because that's the only media request that this court has. Otherwise, we have the official JAVS transcript. So do please remember that. Thank you so very much. And of course, as always, we're going to call if somebody has an outstanding pro bono case, they get to go first on my 74-page calendar of today. Wait, it's not only 74 pages. It is, I misspoke, it's 78. Okay, so please, for those in the chat, please do put them in so we can get this taken care of. My 8:30 is going to be first. I do have a variety of the affinity lifestyles, but I also have two other matters. So I need to know, does anybody here in court have a current pro bono case through one of the various providers? If so, they get to go first. Mr. Pepperman, you're standing up.
Yes, Your Honor, I do have it.
Which one are you utilizing it on? Let me find out if there's anybody else first, and then we'll see if you get all of them. 1 second. Do I have anybody else here in court? Have all these attorneys? No. Only one? How about remotely? Do I have anyone remotely who has an outstanding pro bono case? Please take yourself off mute and please let the court know. As you know, you always get to go first. Well, no. Out of all these attorneys, it appears I only have one counsel. So that means Mr. Pepperman, which, not to be confused with my Pepper case later today, which case would you like to utilize that on? Or are you going to say that you have more than one and I should be utilizing it for all of your cases this morning?
No, I only have one, Your Honor. I would suggest the Kaveh matter.
Okay.
Although the other three are simple status checks, I don't know if it's more convenient for the courts to just call them all at the same time. 5. Now remember, I have 5, but one of them is not yours. Okay. I'm on 4.
Okay. So let's call Kaveh first then. That's pages 68. 60. Yeah, we're going to go on the record, and we'll do 66 to 68 first. Okay? Okay, we are now on the record, and based on the fact that we have one counsel, Mr. Pepperman, who has an outstanding pro bono case. He gets to pick. His case gets to go first. He's requested the Kaveh case go first, which is pages 66 to 68. Case 864-391. So we're going to start first with counsel for plaintiffs, please, and then we'll go to various other counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Eric Pepperman for plaintiffs.
Good morning, Your Honor. Teddy Parker, also here on behalf of plaintiffs. Yes, sir. Take that. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Okay, so are we going next to affinity lifestyle / real water?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Joel Odou on behalf of AffinityLifestyles.com, Inc. and Real Water, Inc.
Okay, so then I'm going to circle around for here in court first for any of the other parties, then I'll go remotely. Counsel, you're standing up. Feel free to go next.
Scott Cook on behalf of Speedy, Mart.
Okay, so let's go. You all are here. I know you're all here for other cases. Okay. That's the only counsel that I have here in person, so then I'm going to, give me 1 second while I get to the defendant list in the case. Okay. Scientific instruments. Anybody on behalf of Scientific Instruments? Mr. Rasmussen, by chance, or someone from his firm? No one. Okay. This is a court-ordered matter. Feel free to, if you don't see your friends, colleagues, or people that at least you know and you want to text them to let them know about appearing at the mandatory status check, feel free to do so. I'm going to circle around everyone else and I'll go back. That means I probably don't have anyone on SID US Inc. Anybody SID US Inc.? No. NSF International, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jonathan Fountain for NSF International.
Appreciate it. Nevada Beverage, please.
Morning, Your Honor. Colt Dodrill, Bar 9000 for Nevada Beverage.
Okay, we already had Speedy Mart. Costco Wholesale Corporation, please. Anybody from Costco on the court-ordered status check?
Morning, Marissa Fehrman. Go.
We didn't. Can you please repeat that? You spoke rather quickly.
Marissa Fehrman on behalf of Costco Wholesale.
You're cutting in and out. You might want to check your connection so that if you're planning on speaking later, we can get that taken care of. Okay, thank you so much. Milwaukee Instruments.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elizabeth Lowell for Milwaukee.
Hanna. Sorry?
Everybody's cutting.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
it's a rainy day, August 1, who knows? Okay. Hanna Instruments. No one for Hanna Instruments, Inc.? We already had Affinity, already did theirs. And on this one, interestingly enough, Mr. Odou, it shows no one has made an appearance on behalf of Real Water, Inc., but that's your clients as well, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor, and we filed an answer. I'll look up the date.
Okay, I'm going from straight from the clerk's records, so you might want to check that on your end. I'm just reading what it says here. Okay, Hanna Instruments SRL. Have they been served, counsel for plaintiff? Because they're listed, but they say no attorney. Just one of the ones they haven't been served on?
Yes, Your Honor. 3 of the defendants have not been served. I believe it's Hanna Instruments, SRL, the Romanian Hanna Instruments entity, and then the dosing
pumps, i.e. from the last hearing when... Okay.
They're all foreign entities.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Okay, I have ETT1 Terrible Herbst in an other role.
Good morning, Jan Tomasik on behalf of ETT1.
Okay, that's the listing I have from the clerk's office. Is there anyone who maybe would like to make an appearance on the Cava matter that hasn't yet had a chance to make an appearance?
Good morning, Your Honor. Jim Cavanaugh. I have not formally answered any third-party complaints. Real Water of Tennessee. Anticipate I will.
Okay,
I
I'm
would
sorry.
let you know I'm here.
Whoever has the very nice sounding dog, we do appreciate it. Love animals, but it kind of messes with our recording. So we just make sure you're in a place that we can actually hear you. So, Mr. Cavanaugh, you said are you observing because your clients have not yet made an appearance? Is that what you were saying?
In essence, that's what I'm saying. I'm here for the 4 other matters. Cava, as the court's probably aware, is one of the newest of the Real Water cases, right. And I'm anticipating.
Okay.
I would comment that it's a little early to be sticking it in a earlier trial date.
Counsel, I'm doing appearances, please. Can we get through the appearances, please?
Okay.
Thank you. I need to make sure who I actually have in this case that actually shows up in this case. So, did anyone walk into court that needs to make an appearance on Cava? No. Okay.
Your Honor, this is Scott Rasmussen. I apologize for being a little late. I was having some technology issues just logging in. Scott Rasmussen for Hanna Instruments, SID, International SID US.
Okay, and you're still at the same status where the international ones have not been served, correct, counsel?
The Romanian companies have not yet been served. The SIDS International is technically a Delaware corporation, but operates outside.
Okay, I understood that Hanna Instruments SRL, Romania, and Dosing Pumps Unit SRL had not been served. Is that still the case?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. That's from one thing counsel for plaintiff said, but also the last hearing. Okay, so I missed anybody who was actually in this case that was not listed on our clerk's sheets. Okay, I have not. Okay, so what we're doing with Cava is from the court's understanding at the request of the parties that are in the case at this juncture, there was, as you know, a motion practice. The court made its ruling. The court received the order as I'm on search warrant duty as well, so I did not have a chance late last night to check about a notice of entry of order. But if it hasn't been done, please ensure that it does get done. So at this juncture, we said for today, I understood the request of the council who were present at the last hearing, is that this be for a status check today for just convenience, since there were several other matters that many of you are on that involve at least some of the same parties. So that is today's status check. So for purposes of the status check, we did not receive a status report. And at one juncture, there was a report filed in a different case, the 831880, that referenced this case. It wasn't filed in this case, but in a different one of the court's cases, there was a reference that parties are discussing they may want this case to be 42424. I'm not sure if that's correct or not correct. I'm just referencing. Obviously, I'm reading all my cases, so if I see a reference, cross-reference, I'm at least going to mention it because parties may or may not be aware of that. And then there was, in that same notice, there was a potential discussion that the Ricks case, which is the 831880, there may be a request to switch that to June 2024. Those are just comments from a different status report. I'm not saying that it applies to this case, but for those of you who may not have seen that, I at least am giving that reference point. So now let's hear what actually is happening in Kaveh and what the parties to this case would like to do so we can get this case where it needs to be, in light of the fact I am aware that one of the parties is over 70 despite motion practice and not reiterating everything I put in the order. Counsel for Plaintiff, go ahead, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Just to recap where we're at the hearing 2 weeks ago on our motion for preferential trial setting, the court denied that motion for two reasons. One, because there were the Hanna entities in Romania that are named in the complaint but had not yet been served. And number two, because we were requesting a trial date, even though a preferential date under NRS 16.025, that was more than 120 days beyond the date of the hearing. Your Honor found that the language of the statute uses the word shall, set it within 125 days, so that the requested in or around March 2024 date precluded you from granting the motion. You also observed that in this particular case, the parties had not met regarding an early case conference or submitted a case management order through the coordinated action, and asked us to meet and confer regarding a trial date and set this status check today. The parties did meet and confer on Friday. During the meet and confer, plaintiffs proposed setting the trial date in this matter, the Kaveh matter, on April 24th, 2024, which is the current trial date in the Richt matter. We proposed continuing the Richt matter to the June trial setting, so it's in line with the King case on the court's calendar. So that way we're not doing two cases at once, and we could focus on the expert disclosures and the discovery in this Kaveh matter in advance of the April 24th date. Along with that trial date, we propose setting all the current deadlines in Richt to be the same in this case. Both cases are in the same exact discovery posture. The plaintiffs have disclosed fact sheets, medical records, but no plaintiff depositions have been done. In response to that proposal, during the parties meet and confer, Real Water agreed to the proposal. Costco indicated its agreement or lack of objection, just as long as there was reasonable.
Hold on just a second. I need to have you pause for a second. Somebody who's remotely is not on mute, and as much as your typing may be important for you, please don't let it interfere with the hearing. So please put yourselves on mute if you're not the one actually speaking. Go ahead, counsel.
Counsel for Costco indicated that the proposal was acceptable so long as if any issues came up with the disclosure deadlines, we would be willing to work with them, which through Special Master Hale, which we offered to do. So some of the other parties said they still needed to consider that and questioned whether June or April would have been better, but given that we have a preferential person who's over 70 in this case, we think setting this case on April 24th and moving Richt would be a fair compromise and in light of all those issues. We also had a special master hearing with Special Master Hale yesterday. We brought up the proposal to him, advised that we had the status check with you today, and that if you were inclined to set the Kaveh case for trial on April 24th in line with the Richt discovery schedule, then we would submit our proposed case management order to Special Master Hale in line with what we did in all the other cases before this court, and he would review and sign off on the case management order, which he would submit to Your Honor for approval. So that is what plaintiffs believe is the best course of action. The April 24th, 2024 trial date is, nearly 9 months away. We think that's plenty of time to get the case ready for trial. We understand that Your Honor denied the motion for preferential trial setting, but given the reasons, we think it's fair because we do have a plaintiff who's over 70, that this case be given priority over the Richt case. And one last thing, that during the meet and confer, I did explain that we do not intend to serve the Romanian entities. I offered to stipulate to dismiss those entities. However, in consulting with NRCP Rule 4, we had filed a complaint in January, or I believe March is when we named the Romanian entities. It has been more than 120 days. We have not served them, so Your Honor is also vested with the authority to dismiss those entities on its own motion, which we would not oppose.
Okay, a lot you just put in there. First off, court's ruling was the court's ruling in this prior case, as will be memorialized in an order. I appreciate each party has their own view of a summation. So, next point is I need to hear from the various parties, because this case, I was double checking, and unless you can give me a date, I do not show that in this case, Special Master Hale was actually appointed. I was double checking that. Counsel, do you by chance have a date to say he was?
Yes, it was very recently. We submitted the stipulation to coordinate this case several months ago. Speedy Mart objected to the stipulation, which required us to file a motion, which we filed in the lead case in front of Judge Alf. Judge Alf granted that motion within the last couple weeks. I believe the order has been entered, but...
Did anyone ensure it was filed in this case? Remember, coordinated cases, you need to file in each and every case. That's what I remember. So I'm looking at 8643911. That's what I was asking. In this case, do you show that there is anything that shows that? Because you can appreciate, I can't go looking through 15 cases every day to see if maybe something got filed that might impact one of the cases in this court. Did you by chance have that?
I don't have that information in front of me, Your Honor.
Counsel, would you like to be heard? You're standing up.
I'm standing up to the extent that hearing was last Wednesday. I have yet to see an order, so I don't know if it's been entered or not. In Judge Alf's court, she ordered that it be coordinated for discovery purposes, but that any documents relative to Speedy Mart be specifically identified as Williams cases cases relative to the plaintiff, but it hasn't been entered yet.
I'm not Judge Williams.
No, I mean, the Judge Alf said that with regard to any of the Williams plaintiffs, any documents need to be specifically identified, but I haven't seen an order to that effect yet.
Okay, so in the Kaveh case, so it's your understanding that there has not been an order submitted, so it's not an issue of not being filed in this case. It may not have even been signed. Or
I believe the order. Your Honor, I apologize. I don't have the information in front of me. Someone from my office handled it. I'm not sure if it was.
let's go to the easy question. Does anybody at all who's on either remotely or here in person have any knowledge of any order coordinating this case that has actually been filed with a notice of entry thereof? In this case, I didn't see it. No.
I know the motion was filed in Judge Alf's department. I'm not sure if it was also filed in this department.
I'm talking about orders, not motions.
And again, I know Judge Alf was recently signing the order. I don't know if it's been filed yet. If it has, I'll make sure that a copy is filed in this court as well.
Where I'm trying to go with it is, right, Division of Family Services and Rust versus Clark County is where this court is asking the question based on. If it's an oral pronouncement from the bench that's not memorialized in writing, right, with notice of entry thereof, there's certain issues I need to address. I need to see what the party's saying. If it's actually an order with notice of entry of order, right, then I can move forward in a different path. So that's why this court needs to ask that very critical question, because it impacts what the court can actually do. Unless I have a stipulation from all parties that even if it's not yet memorialized in writing or it's not yet filed in the Kaveh case, that you still wish me to treat it as if it has been coordinated and as if it now is in front of Special Master Hale has been appointed, right? Because remember, it's different between coordination for discovery versus the deeming it complex and appointing Special Master Hale, as also with trial schedules, right? 3 different topics. So that's why I have to parse it down the way I need to parse it down. It's not that I'd love you to move this case, right, so we can help you all since you're all here today. But I need to know procedurally where this case is so it can be properly addressed. Let me check with Affinity and see what their understanding is, and then I'll check with some of the other third parties, and then I'll circle back to you all, giving you a chance in case you happen to be testing your office or looking up something, okay?
Trying.
Mr. Parker, did you want to speak before I say?
I was only going to say one other thing, Your Honor, and good morning again.
Morning.
Your Honor.
On behalf of plaintiffs, right?
On behalf of
Thank you.
That's correct.
Mr. Pepperman, can you speak your mic down for him just a little bit?
Thank you, Your Honor. We did have a special master hearing yesterday. Status hearing in front of
I am hearing you, but I can't say whether it would have applied to this case or not if there's not a proper order.
Of course, Your Honor. And I would just represent to the court that this Kaveh case was discussed along with the Rick case as well. I don't believe there's anyone on the screen who will dispute what Judge Alf committed to in court. And while Mr. Pepperman looks to see if the order was actually signed, Your Honor, if it was not, certainly we will expedite it getting here as once it's signed. But I don't think anyone's going to dispute it, Your Honor.
I'm about to find out. Thank you. I mean, that's why I need, in fairness to everyone, if everyone's stipulating under UDCR 7.50, that's one thing. But if I have somebody that's objecting, then I need to address it depending on whatever the actual procedural status is.
Absolutely.
So that everyone's fairly and equally treated. Okay, so let's circle around. Affinity.
Thank you, Your Honor. Joel Odou on behalf of Real Water and Affinity. I've confirmed that an answer for both entities was filed as one document on March 21, 2023. So Real Water answered with Affinity. I attended the hearing with Judge Alf. That hearing was on July 19. Judge Alf granted the motion to coordinate and appoint Special Master Hale. That order has not been entered yet in Judge Alf's court, nor I don't believe I have seen a copy of the proposed order. We will stipulate to both of those things, complex point Mr. Hale, but that order has not been approved or seen by Judge Alf to my knowledge. But the ruling is what the ruling is, but it's not memorialized at this time.
In light of that, do you wish, that means there's going to be a CMO. Now, the parties usually have wanted to have these in a nice coordinated fashion so people can do multiple departments at the same time. I'm perfectly fine with that concept. But if somebody's going to object to my moving forward today, I need to know. If all parties wish me to move forward today, I need to know. So, Counsel for Affinity and Real Water, what would you like to do?
Your Honor, Joel Odou on behalf of Affinity and Real Water. Mr. Pepperman has actually circulated a proposed CMO for this case, basically using the CMO from the Rich case. By the way, I see the Rich case was set for trial for April 22nd, not 24th. The 22nd is a Monday, the 24th is a Wednesday, just for the court's information. But there is a CMO that has been, a proposed CMO that has been circulated. We were waiting to get, obviously, the order from Judge Alf and then an indication from this court if it is receptive to setting the Kaveh case in place of the Rich case on April 22nd.
Okay, but by this scenario, I mean, I need to ask, and I'm not yet to King, so I don't want to get there because there's different plaintiffs' counsel in King. But if your request is to move it to June of 2024, that is going to impact your client, which is why I'm asking you first rather than plaintiffs, because that's a different plaintiffs' counsel. Is that what you're wishing to have it in June of 2024? Meaning, do you want Kaveh to be April 2024 and then move Rick to June of 2024?
Your Honor, yesterday's special master hearing, we talked about moving, I think, Rich later. I'll let plaintiffs speak to that point. And we didn't have the court's next stack after the June 17 stack. I know there's a September 16 stack. I don't know what other stacks there are. In
September.
Yeah. So I'll defer to the plaintiffs on that. But we were agreeable to the quote unquote switch and put Kaveh on April 22nd and move Rick to whatever stack is convenient for the court and the other parties.
Okay. So let's circle around next. Just doing this in the order in which the sheets show it. That means, Mr. Rasmussen, you're up next for your clients. Your thoughts, please. And we're dealing with Kaveh, and then to the extent that it has some impact with else. So since we're doing that, let me just check with my court recorder. Since they're mentioning other cases, do you need me to call all these cases at the same time, or we'll just cross-reference and just do same information previously?
I think just using the same information is fine for me, Your Honor. I don't need all of them called. I'm here for all of them on all entities except for the Romanian ones, which I currently do not represent the Romanian companies.
Okay, so Mr. Rasmussen, your position currently, right, you're on 3, Hanna Instruments, Scientific Instruments Development International Inc. and SID US Inc., is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
Okay, your position on the request to A, treat the order that has not yet been filed with an NEO as if it were implemented, so that I do move forward with giving you a trial date today at your status check, which realistically I'm only doing to try and help you all plan each of your cases. I mean, presumably you all might want that. But, and then the second question.
Your Honor,
go ahead.
First question. The answer is I did attend that hearing. Yes, it did occur. Yes, the Judge Alf did issue that order. I have not seen that order yet, but we would.
I heard you say, but we would, and then you cut out, Mr. Rasmussen, so I didn't hear anything you said.
I apologize. Someone tried to call me on my phone, and that's my issue. We would stipulate to that, and we're fine with, just as Affinity's counsel just stated, we would be fine with everything that they stated. I also attended the special master hearing yesterday. I want to have a coordinated case, and I would like Floyd Hale to be appointed as special master.
Okay. For you, I have to ask you one other question, since Mr. Pepperman said with regards to Hanna Instruments SRL, Hanna Instruments Romania SRL, and Dosing Pumps Unit SRL. Is that correct, the 3 entities, Mr. Pepperman?
Yes, I believe so.
And I understand, Mr. Rasmussen, you don't represent them. Do you wish to have any position with regards to Mr. Pepperman's statement that either A, could be stipulated to, or B, that the court, on its own initiative, since there's not been service and it's been 4 months, that I should dismiss them without prejudice.
So, because I do represent the SID International and SID US, more importantly, entities, I can tell you that they would be happy to go forward with your dismissal. So, could you, so long as that happens, and it happens like today or relatively soon, so that I don't have to deal with anything as far as making sure that counsel is appointed, getting their experts together, all that stuff, going to depositions on their behalf, which I don't represent them, but because I do represent the other entities, I just would like that to be done as soon as possible, and I am agreeable that this court has the authority to go ahead and have them dismissed out of the case today. I would expect that Mr. Pepperman's office would prepare and provide to you some sort of an order doing so, assuming that you grant that motion. Because it has been past 120 days, and I do agree with that.
Okay. Is there any other issues you need to discuss, or shall I move on?
You may move on. I should tell you. You do what you want to do, Your Honor. I don't tell you what to do, but I'm done.
Okay, thank you so very much. Okay, NSF International. Would you like to be heard on just the Kaveh matter? And realistically, if anyone wants to be heard on the Hanna, SRL, Romania, and dosing pumps, let me know. But so far, nobody said that they've had any position on those other than potentially Mr. Rasmussen and Mr. Pepperman. But if you think you do, let me know. So I'm not limiting people. Let's go to, like I said, NSF International. Same 2 questions. If you need me to repeat them, I can.
Yes, Your Honor, please do.
Okay. Remember, we need you to, each time you speak, to state your name.
This is Jonathan Fountain.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Because, okay. So the 2 questions were, 1, based on multiple counsel's representations as officer of the court, that there was a hearing and it was ordered that the Kaveh case will be coordinated and Special Master Hale will be appointed consistent with the other coordinated cases, but yet there is no written order memorialization thereof. I'm just trying to find out if anyone's raising an objection under Division of Family Services, Russ versus Clark County, or if you all want me to move forward to try and get you at least some clarity on where the Kaveh case would fit in the various trials, at least in this department. So, do you have an objection? You want me to move forward on that part? And then the second question.
NSF has no objection, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Then the second question is, substantively or semi-substantively, counsel for plaintiffs, and Seas Real Water's in agreement so far. Hanna, the actual parties that have answered, are in agreement that to move the Kaveh case to the slot currently held by the Wright case or Richt case, you all pronounce it 2 different ways, whichever is correct, i.e. to the April 2024 time slot. And then when I get to the Richt case, I'll have to evaluate whether it goes in a June time slot or some other time slot, not before April 2024.
Again, NSF has no objection.
Okay, thank you so very much. Now let's go to Nevada Beverage. Same 2 questions. Go ahead, counsel. State your name and that you're Nevada Beverage, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Colt Dodrill, Bar 9000 for Nevada Beverage. To answer your first question, we have no objection to going forward today.
Okay, and the second question?
Regarding your second question, Nevada Beverage does object to having a early trial setting on the Kaveh case. We're concerned that the Williams plaintiffs, which is Sante Williams and her infant daughters, are under 70. I don't see how they have standing to seek a preferential trial. We would ask that this case be set for trial in the ordinary course. The court, at the motion for preferential trial setting hearing, suggested that Mr. Tagano, who is the lone 70-year-old plaintiff, could be joined for trial in one of the other matters, perhaps Richt. We would be happy with that. We're no longer in Richt, and we're not a party in Lisa King. But that would be our suggestion and our position.
Okay. FYI, ordinary course is April. I mean, the ordinary course from the date of filing, if you look at the NRCP and the EDCR, it is an appropriate time for discovery that would for general due process standards. From this court's availability, really, it's whichever. I'll be glad to try whichever case y'all want. I mean, it's fine from the court standpoint. But I've heard Nevada Beverage's position, and you're not in Richt and you're not in Henry, so you're not really impacted.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I am in Henry. I am not in Lisa King.
I'm sorry, my apologies. I meant you're not in the two ones that would potentially be impacted, meaning the Richt case, which is April, and the King case, which is June. Okay, so let me move on. Thank you so very much. Speedy Mart.
Scott Cook on behalf of Speedy Mart. We would join with Nevada Beverage. We have no objection. Special Master Hale coordinating these cases, but we're in a unique position because consolidation of our case has not been granted. So we're not, it's in a flux. I'd like to see the order.
Consolidation, what do you mean by consolidation of your case?
I wasn't at the hearing, so I don't know exactly what our status is, but there was an objection to consolidating Kaveh into, I believe, the Wren case. Is that right?
No, that's not been heard by this court.
Could you
closer to your microphone?
I can do that.
Right. Yeah, thank you. The court is going to ask you to stay within an arm's length if you don't mind. No, it was a preferential setting, and there were various issues raised in the preferential setting. The court said what it said. Feel free to get the disc or the transcript. The ruling memorialized that as having a couple of different issues, so it is what it is at this juncture. So really during that hearing, there was various questions about other potential alternatives. This court has no inclinations on other potential alternatives. It was really trying to see if the parties wanted some other alternative. Realistically, as I've said over and over again, this court will be glad to try these cases how they currently are. If parties want to add or do what they need to do, as long as it's in accordance with the rules, fine. If the parties by stipulation want something different, all parties, I'll evaluate said stipulation. I don't have a preference or viewpoint. I'm here to oversee and try all of the cases in accordance with the applicable statutes, rules, law, case law, etc. So that's where it is.
So to go back to where we were, I don't have objection to Special Master Hale. I haven't seen the order yet, and I'd like to see it because there's kind of a caveat to it. But with regard to an expedited trial, we were added in March. We were just added. We have two minor plaintiffs, while everyone else has been around for 2.5 years and has a command of, I think the last count was 92 gigabytes of documents. We do not. And so we believe that the issue of bifurcation, which is not before the court now, is probably appropriate, and he should be moved. But we do join Nevada Beverage in objecting to the April date.
Okay. See why it's good to have done a pro bono case first? You all could have gone first with all of this. The time it would take you to do some of the pro bono cases. Strong encouragement, folks. But anyway, okay, let me continue down my listing of people here. Costco Wholesale Corporation.
Marissa Fehrman on behalf of Costco. No objection as to your first question. And as to the second question, Mr. Pepperman was correct. Costco also has no objection to moving the trial date, so long as plaintiffs work with Costco with the expert designation deadlines, as Mr. Pepperman stated they were in agreement with.
And when you say move, meaning putting it in the April 2024 slot where currently the Richt case is that correct or incorrect?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Just one moment. Just double checking. Okay. Let's move on. Milwaukee Instruments, your position, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elizabeth Lowell. I don't have any objection to you moving forward. Someone from my office attended the special master hearing. I would like to express no preference regarding the two positions on the trial date for Kaveh.
Thank you so very much. When you say no position, does that mean no objection, or does that mean I just need a little bit more clarity? I need to know which column to put you into.
Sorry, I'd like to be in the middle, but I don't have an objection from my office. If you need one or the other, I would say no objection.
Okay, thank you so very much. I already heard from Hanna, I've already heard from Affinity, I've heard from Nevada Beverage. Okay, any other party that's answered that I should still hear from that's not yet been asked? Okay, so where it looks like is what this court has. Everybody's fine for the court moving forward. The only issue is there is two parties, Speedy Mart and Nevada Beverage, which are in Kaveh case, which aren't in the Richt case, and so they have a viewpoint on when the Kaveh case should be, because they're really not impacted by the Richt case or for whatever reason, but that's from a procedural standpoint. Anybody who's in both cases, realistically, seems to say whether we do one case versus the other case, as long as parties are cooperating on the extent there might be a different expert or might be a different depot, that you're fine either way. Is that a general, somebody thinks that's not a correct summation, please let me know. Anybody here in court think that's not correct? Okay.
One clarification, and I thought Nevada Beverage was in the Rick case. Speedy Mart is not, but I thought Nevada Beverage was. I could be mistaken.
Sorry. Well, Nevada Beverage, are you in the Rick case, but you're just not, you're the Williams party? Sorry, go ahead.
This is Colt Dodrill, Bar 9000, counsel for Nevada Beverage. I was a defendant in Jesse Richt. Mr. Pepperman voluntarily dismissed my client based on discovery.
That's what I thought. Okay. So, in light of that, counsel for plaintiff, was the court submission?
That's correct. Sorry, there's a lot of cases that I get.
Really? Try 600 plus. Go ahead. Anyway, that was what my grade showed. Okay, no worries. Okay. So is that basically a correct summation?
I don't disagree with that.
Okay. That correct summation, Speedy Mart, I mean, I'm not,
Yes.
nothing negative or positive. I'm just trying to analyze it. Correct, Nevada Beverage?
That's correct, Your Honor, Colt Dodrill.
Thank you. Okay, anybody, I'm not leaving anybody out, but anyone else want to be heard? I can circle around everyone. I'm really just trying to be efficient with people's time here. Okay. So what this court has to decide is, okay, first issue is I do need to go forward. I am going to give you a trial date. Now the question is whether I give you a stacked date like I gave in Gilman, which is another case I have, which does not involve many of you, but some of you it does, or whether I give you a firm date. Here's what the court has to consider. The court has to consider the challenges of parties that just came in March of 2023, and whether or not for them prepare for trial with an April 2024 date. I need actually quick, whether that would be appropriate or not. It makes sense for everybody else. The question really becomes, does it make sense for, because there's two plaintiffs, right? The Williams plaintiffs are the two plaintiffs that are in Kaveh that would be impacted by Speedy Mart Nevada Beverage. Is that correct? Either Mr. Cook or Mr. Cook Dodrill?
That is correct. Their mother and the two plaintiffs, but yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. The Williams twins, the family, they purchased real water through home delivery and through Speedy Mart.
Okay.
And just to be clear, Speedy Mart's the only party that was not is new to the case through Kaveh back in March, or was it January or March?
We answered in January or in March.
I think they were named initially in January 2023 in the original Kaveh complaint. And Nevada Beverage has been in the litigation, the coordinated litigation, since the outset, and are a party in Hunt-Wurtzen, which is coming to trial in January. So the only real issue is related to Williams is whether they bought from Speedy Martin as well.
Okay, so here's what I need to do. Realistically, I'm going to let you all have an opportunity to speak with Special Master Hale. I think that is the more appropriate way. I'm going to give you the two slots, and you can pick which case you want, in which order in those slots, after speaking with Special Master Hale. And then if somebody objects to Special Master Hale and what their CMO and the two of them are, I can review it at that time. That really gives you all a chance not only to meet among yourselves again. I appreciate certain people from certain firms where we're not at meetings, certain people have certain information, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to move this case at this juncture, but I'm going to say the court is open. But I'm going to give you a date. I'm actually going to give you a date in the July stack. Okay? I'm not going to put another one on the June stack of 2024 for a variety of reasons, including not a counsel here, but I've got King then, and I also have another potentially large case involving the firm that also has King plaintiff that may be going in June. So May/June. So I need to be cognizant of total things. And I think it makes more sense to put you in July. If I put you in July, have I impacted some other judge that I don't yet know about? I haven't impacted any of the cases. This court's got 6 of the 15. At least I knew about 15 that are business court cases. I know there's a couple out there that aren't business court cases, but
There are
Yes.
actually 26 or 27 total cases, I believe, across several departments.
right.
We're stacked all the way through.
Okay. So does July? Sorry, counsel. Who wanted to speak? I'm not sure who's.
Your Honor, Joel Odou for Real Water. The Vincelette case is set before Judge Williams on July 9, 2024.
So, okay. And that is scheduled to go how far?
I think the Vincelette case is relatively smaller compared to some of the other cases. I think it will go, if it's on a July 9 stack, it will probably take about 10 days to try.
Okay. Actually, my July stack starts July 29th and goes most of August.
That should be fine.
Technically called July because it does start that last week in July. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to give you a firm date yet on the July stack. I'm going to leave it open for you all to discuss with Special Master Hale. Once again, it gives you the most flexibility because you know your trial schedules and trying to be cognizant of everyone's time, etc. So here's what you've got. Whether it's Richt or whether it's Kaveh that I try, and it is April 22nd, 2024, the court's fine with either. I'm going to let you all propose that to Special Master Hale, and then if an objection comes my way, I'll rule on it at that time. You can have Richt at that time, or you can have Kaveh at that time. The other date you're going to get is a stack date for July. And the reason why I'm intentionally giving you a stack date is because, once again, I'm trying to give you all the flexibility that you know what else. My 5-week stack, like I mentioned, is July 29th, and it goes to August 30th. Gives you the flexibility to know what other cases to coordinate that, take in front of Special Master Hale. So I will try either Kaveh in April, on April 22nd, as it currently is. Kaveh in April, which is the current RIC date, 4/22/2024, or I can do Kaveh in July, and you all can find a date agreeable to the parties on that July stack from July 29th to August 30th. And I can do RIC on the flip of them. So you know Richt and Kaveh, one's going to be in April, one's going to be on the July stack. The July stack, I think both the April stack and the July stack do take into account normal discovery. It's not a preferential, i.e., see the order that someone's going to be providing me, right? It's not 120 days. So I think it takes into account all of those issues, and it gives you all the flexibility to coordinate with your schedule. Before I move on, is there anybody who strongly objects to such a contention and would prefer the court to give you a specific date and specific ruling today, rather than giving you the flexibility to speak among yourselves and with Special Master Hale to give you more opportunities to evaluate things? Counsels for plaintiff.
No objection on behalf of the plaintiff, Your Honor. And I'm assuming you're going to just treat it as a report and recommendation from Special Master Hale, and if anyone wants to object, he'll do the normal deal.
Yeah, it'd be proposed CMO report and rec. Yeah.
That's perfect, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Affinity Real Water, your view.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think that's perfect.
Okay. Well, I like that language, perfect. Okay, let's circle around and see if I can get multiple perfect. Or maybe not. We'll see. Okay. Council for Scientific Instruments, SIDUS, and Hanna Instruments.
Scott Rasmussen on behalf of those entities. I have no objection, and I think that's perfect.
Going well here. NSF.
This is Jonathan Fountain. No objection.
Okay, Nevada Beverage.
We are in agreement, Your Honor. Colt Dodrill, bar 9,000.
Speedy Mart.
Scott Cook, no objection.
Costco Wholesale.
Marissa Fehrman on behalf of Costco. No objection.
Milwaukee Instruments.
Elizabeth Lowell on behalf of Milwaukee Instruments. No objection, and I think that's great.
Okay, I'll take a great too. ETT1, Terrible Herbst.
Jan Tomasik for ETT1, bar number 15104. No objection, and that's perfect with us. Thank you.
Okay. I appreciate I have counsel observing for an entity that's not yet in the case. Is there something I have the challenge when you're not yet in the case, speaking on a case, but I'm also trying to ensure I'm taking everyone into account. Without calling you out by name, is there any counsel who might be in a party that's not in the case that needs to be heard? And not requiring anyone to be heard, I'm just giving an opportunity.
Your Honor, the only thing I would like to know is today whether or not you're going to, with regard to those Romanian entities, issue an order saying that they were not served timely, therefore they're dismissed from the case. That's the only thing I'd like to also just have resolved and done.
And that is Mr. Rasmussen speaking, correct?
Yes, Mr. Rasmussen.
Okay. I was going to get there in 1 second. I was finishing off this part of it, and then I was going to get to that next. Okay. So, I'm not hearing anybody wishes to speak. I've given sufficient time for anyone to set forth a position if they wanted to. Okay, now let's get to Hanna Instruments SRL, Hanna Instruments Romania SRL, and Dosing Pumps Unit SRL in the Kaveh case only, which, as we stated, is pages 66 to 68, case 864391. Counsel for plaintiff, are you requesting a voluntary dismissal because there's been no answer filed, and are you requesting that the court dismiss it without prejudice, or you're just open to anything, or you're wishing a stipulation, or some fourth or fifth option that I've not yet stated?
Your Honor, I don't know if that there's anyone to stipulate with.
Okay.
However, I do acknowledge that these Romanian entities have not been served. It's been more than 120 days. So I would request to submit a voluntary order of dismissal for the court to sign, dismissing these 3 Romanian entities without prejudice.
Okay. The court's going to find it's appropriate. It can voluntarily dismiss. If there's been no answer and no summary judgment, you can voluntarily dismiss a party, and then you've also got the Rule 4 issue. Does anyone wish to see that proposed order coming to the court before it gets sent to the court? Generally, if it's a non-party that has not yet happened, it doesn't really fall within the rules for review, but I'm opening that opportunity up just in case so that Mr. Pepperman would know if it should be circulated before presented to the court. Anybody requesting circulation?
Yes, Your Honor, Scott Rasmussen on behalf of the other handed entities. I would just like to review it because my concern is that the spelling on some of those might be off. I know what they were named in the complaint, but just so that we can make sure that it's also known or something like that is in that, I would appreciate that with Mr. Pepperman. We'll work with his office to make sure that the spellings are correct. But for no other reason than that is the reason I'd like to review it.
No worries. Any objection, Mr. Pepperman? Sending this a courtesy to Mr. Rasmussen?
No, Your Honor. I'll submit it. I'll circulate it to all parties before.
Okay. And basically at least give people a day or two and just say they did not respond, so we don't return it, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, is there anything else on the Kaveh matter, case 864391, any party needs the court to address? Speak now. I'm not going to circle around to everyone because I presume you all would tell me. Nobody here in court, not seeing anybody taking themselves off mute remotely. Okay. Those of you are patiently waiting, I've got more. So I think it makes the more sense to go to Richt next because that was referenced in the Kaveh case. That would be pages 28 to 53. I'm going to give my court recorder a brief moment to circle there because I'm going out of order. 831-880.
If I may suggest, if in the past we've called all the cases at once just to address them, I think we could take them together. There's really nothing of substance that you haven't already addressed.
Okay.
On the 3. It would be just my...
On Richt, though, I have the unique issue that you're wishing to potentially change that. That's the reason I was going to call Richt and I was going to call the other ones together so that you had the same record in Richt that you have in Kaveh and give everyone a chance in Richt because you do have a couple of different different parties to do that. So
very well, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm all for economy, but because of your unique issue, which you want with switching things, I think you might want to have a fair transfer. 880, counsel for plaintiff.
Morning, Your Honor. Eric Pepperman for plaintiffs.
Okay. I think one way I can possibly do this is I can say any And Court, would it be a challenge if I just say it's the same parties other than any party that did not make an appearance in Kaveh who needs to make an appearance in Richt? Did I let them do that where you only go all appearances? What's going to be better for your transcript? Okay, all of them. Sorry, folks. Let's go all. Okay, that means here in court. Go ahead, counsel.
Good morning, Joel Odou, bar number 7468 on behalf of Affinity and Real Water, Inc.
Okay, and we have counsel here in court. Go ahead, please. Your Whole Foods, etc. Go ahead.
David Spurlock, United Natural Foods West, Your Honor, and WFM Southern.
Okay, give me 1 second. This is here. Circle through. Okay. Scientific Instruments, SID, US, and Hanna Instruments. Counsel, would you like to make your appearance?
Yes, Scott Rasmussen on behalf of the entities which you just stated, Your Honor.
Thank you. NSF International.
Good morning, Jonathan Fountain on behalf of NSF International.
Nevada Beverage, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Colt, Dodrill, bar 9000. I'm here in other cases. I've been dismissed and Richt.
Okay, so you're not. For some reason, you still show. I'm going to have to figure out that one. Okay, Milwaukee Instruments.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elizabeth Lowell for Milwaukee Instruments.
We already have that one. We already have that one. Costco, please.
Good morning, Marissa Fehrman on behalf of Costco Wholesale Corporation.
Okay, is there anybody on the Richt case that I've not yet called that needs to make an appearance, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Jim Neal, Pro Hoc Vice. I am with Mr. Spurlock and represent UNFW and Whole Foods Market.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so with regards to the Richt case. Sorry,
Again, it's Jim Cavanaugh for Real Water of Tennessee. Richt case.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So you all were here. Is anyone not here during the Kaveh discussion that needs me to repeat anything? If so, speak now. The only person I can think of, maybe Pro Hoc Vice Counsel, you here during during Kaveh, so you heard of the request? Okay. Mr. Spurlock, you were here even though you were not in that case, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you at least heard what was said?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So you heard what the court, well, I really ordered it in Kaveh, so that's what I was intending to do in Richt, but I do want to give any party that is in Richt that was not in Kaveh an opportunity to speak if there's a reason why the court should not be doing it, which basically means, Mr. Spurlock, it's your client, and Mr. Cavanaugh, your client. So go ahead, please.
Your Honor, I was here and I have no objections, and I would like to reiterate what I heard before. I think it was great.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Mr. Cavanaugh, on behalf of your client.
I'm in agreement with Mr. Odou's agreement, Your Honor.
Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to reference that rather than going through that whole agreement, I think for ease, unless somebody objects, we're going to say, please see the hearing transcript in the Kaveh case with regards to the court's order on the trial dates, whether it be the April 22nd date or the July stack that was previously noted of 2024. Okay? Does that meet everybody's needs, or does somebody want me to spend the time to walk through everything that was said previously? If anyone wants me to restate it, I'll restate it. I'm just trying to be efficient with your time. Anybody need restated? Speak now. No. Okay. So we are moving on. I am going to call Hunsworthson, King, and Henry together. So let me get those case numbers and those page numbers and give my court recorder a moment to do that. So Miles Hunsworthson, this page is 1 through 27, 831-543. Lisa King, 833-630, pages 54 to 58. Henry, case 844176, pages 59 to 65. Do I need another? Are you good? We're good? Okay. Counsel for plaintiff. I'm going to first on the Hunsworthson and Henry, and then we'll go to counsel on King. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Eric Pepperman for plaintiffs in the Hunsworthson and Henry matters.
Okay. Real Water / Affinity on all of them. Would you like to make your appearance?
Good morning, Your Honor. Joel Odou, bar number 7468 on behalf of Real Water, Inc. and Affinity Lifestyles.com, Inc.
Okay, Mr. Spurlock, since you're here in court, you want to state on which ones you're on, then we'll circle around.
Yes, Your Honor. United Natural Foods and WFM Markets, Your Honor.
On all three?
All three.
Okay. On
Your
Speedy
Honor,
Mart, go ahead.
On Henry, Scott Cook for ARSLV doing business as AB Market.
Okay, counsel for plaintiff on King. Can I get your appearance, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Danielle Miller for Plaintiff Lisa King, bar number 9127.
Okay, thank you. Continue to circle around. Hanna Instruments entities on behalf of various cases.
Good morning, Your Honor. Scott Rasmussen on behalf of Hanna Instruments, SID US, and SID International.
All three cases, counsel?
I believe so, Your Honor. I also know that there are Romanian companies named in those, and so that may be an issue I'd like to discuss today as well.
Okay, we'll get back to you just in a second, so let me circle around. I do have Kihei Distributors of Nevada in Hunsworthson. If they wish to make an appearance, there we go.
Good morning, Your Honor. Michancy, Cramer, 11545, local counsel for Kihei.
Any out-of-state, any pro-hawks on Kihei that needs to make an appearance?
Yes, Your Honor. Caitlin Zaph admitted pro hoc vice and for Kihei Distributors of Nevada, and Kihei is in King and Henry, but not Hunsworthson.
Interesting you say that, because Kihei Distributors of Nevada does show up on Hunsworthson, with Lauren Frister being counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. Maureen is the partner on the case.
Right. I'm sorry, but your pro-hoc counsel said that you weren't on Hunsworthson, you're only on the other two. I'm just bringing to your attention that the clerk's records show that Kihei Distributors of Nevada is on Hunsworthson.
Thank you for pointing that out, Your Honor. We'll look into it, but not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. NSF International, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jonathan Fountain on behalf of NSF International in the Hunsworthson and Henry cases only.
Thank you. Albertsons. I have counsel for Albertsons and Hunsworthson. Bird and Franco are next. No.
Your Honor, I believe that Albertsons has been dismissed from the Hunsworthson.
Okay, can you check because they still show on the clerk's official records? But thank you for
yes,
that.
Your Honor.
United Natural Foods, Mr. Spurlock, you already made your appearances, so let me circle. Milwaukee Instruments, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elizabeth Lowell from Milwaukee Instruments in all three cases.
Thank you. Costco, please.
Good morning. Marissa Fehrman on behalf of Costco Wholesale Corporation in Henry and Hunsworthson only.
Thank you. ETT1.
Good morning, Jan Tomasik, 15104 in Henry and Hunsworthson.
Real Water, Tennessee.
Morning again, Your Honor. Jim Cavanaugh with Gordon Reese in Las Vegas for all three, Hunsworthson, King, and Henry.
Okay. Anybody need to make an appearance that I've not yet before I address the Romanian issue? Any other counsel?
Your Honor, Jim Neal.
Okay, hold on a
Co-counsel.
second. Okay, let's. I probably should have done it a little less. Okay, let's do an alphabetical order. Anybody A through K, last name, need to make an appearance.
Good morning, Your Honor. Colt Dodrill, bar 9000, counsel for Nevada Beverage in Hunsworthson and Henry, and I can confirm Albertsons was dismissed in Hunsworthson.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. That just needs to check because it still shows up on the clerk's record. But once again, if you all submit something, you get that taken care of. Okay, anybody K through Z?
Yes, Your Honor. Jim Neal, co-counsel with Mr. Spurlock for UNFW, Whole Foods Market, Pro Hoc Vice.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Gina Winspear on behalf of Silver Springs Water in the Henry case.
Okay. Everyone taken care of. So, realistically, for these three cases, they look like they were all moving along, other than the Romanian issue, which I will get in just a second, because that impacts one or a couple of the parties. Let me see if there's anything else globally that impacts anybody else, and then we'll go to that one, just so I have global issues, I can take care of those first. Counselor Plaintiffs, anything on any of those three cases that you need to address at today's status check?
No, Your Honor, I agree. Everything is going on in normal course.
What's going to be your position? Well, I'll circle back to Romania in a second. Okay. Affinity Water, Real Water, Affinity Lifestyles, Real Water.
Thank you, Your Honor. Joel Odou for the Real Water defendants. Discovery is proceeding. We're on schedule.
Okay. I'm going to really open it up to anybody else. Does anybody else wish to be heard with the last name of the counsel? I'm going to break it down A through F. G through M. N through Z. No. Okay. The reason why I was doing that in case anybody wanted to log off, I will say the status, other than the Hanna Instruments issue, you're more than welcome to stay on, but other than the Hanna Instruments issue with regards to the 3 foreign entities. Anybody else who wants to log off, feel free to do so. Status check is completed for you. If you want to stay on, you're more than welcome to stay on. Now let's get to Mr. Rasmussen. So I hear from Mr. Pepperman first and Ms. Miller and see what the position is with regards to those entities in any of these 3 cases. Mr. Pepperman, do you have a position to discuss today?
Same, Your Honor. They have not been served. I believe it's been more than 120 days. We're fine submitting voluntary dismissals without prejudice as to each of the Romanian entities in all the cases before you.
Okay, and you'll check to ensure which ones they're actually in?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rasmussen, would you like to make
yes.
Does that meet your needs, or what would you like?
I believe Ms. Miller, who represents the King case, filed a motion to enlarge time to serve those Romanian companies, and so I just need to hear from her as to what they plan on doing. They have not been served yet. I don't know there's been an attempt to serve them yet, and I believe the 120 days was close to ending when they filed the motion to enlarge time. So it's really up to her and what I'd like to hear from her as to what they plan to do, if anything.
Okay, but with regards to Hunsworthson and Henry, which are Mr. Pepperman's cases, does that meet your needs, what he stated?
It does. As we discussed in the Kaveh case, I think Mr. Pepperman will just shoot over some sort of a proposed voluntary dismissal, and I'll review that and make sure that the spellings on those names are all correct.
Okay. Before I get to King, let me just make sure in either Hunsworthson or Henry, does anyone else wish to be heard on the, what's we call the 3 Romanian Hanna foreign entities? No? Okay. Ms. Miller, would you like to be heard? And you don't need to be heard. You can say it's not before me today. That's perfectly fine. But if you wish to, do you wish to be heard on King and the request of Mr. Rasmussen?
I would, Your Honor. We did not file a motion to enlarge time to serve any of the defendants in this case. So I'm not really sure what he's looking at, or
It might be a different case where I just saw that happened. I thought it was your firm that did it. I'm pretty sure it was, but if not, there was something like that did come out. So but it's more important, Ms. Miller, is whether or not you're going to continue to pursue those entities.
Yeah, the last motion we filed was our motion for leave to amend on March 20th. We'll do the exact same thing Mr. Pepperman is doing and send Mr. Rasmussen voluntary dismissals without prejudice to ensure that the defendants are named properly, because I do believe it has been more than 120 days on that.
Okay. Mr. Rasmussen, does that meet your needs on
Yes, Your Honor.
King? Okay, and King, of course, is 833-630. Does anyone else wish to be heard on any of these cases? If not, I'm going to thank you, and I'm going to move on to other parties that thought they had a 8:30 calendar. Last
Thank
call.
you, Your Honor.
Thank
you,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, everyone have a great rest of your day, rest of your week. All the best. Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Orders, please. Okay. So we do have Nevada Beverage. You're not gone yet, because Nevada Beverage, you're here for another case. Page 69, Nevada Beverage versus